tonight. Candace Owens, thanks so much for coming on. Speaking of dangerous extremists, I have to say, Biden was elected on the promise that he would calm things down, that he'd been around, that he was a deal maker. Every time he gives a speech in public in the last several months, he's spitting mad, he's attacking American citizens in terms that are really without precedent, and he's threatening some sort of law enforcement or military response internally. That's not extremism?
It is extremism. And by the way, we got no promises really from Joe Biden when he ran because they hid him. They used the guise of a pandemic. I mean, he showed up at a couple of car honking rallies. I think we saw about 12 cars and the camera was always panned in. So we had no idea who Joe Biden was. He was sort of ushered into the White House and everyone said, don't ask any questions. It's because of the pandemic. You look at this and you see what's going on in the country and you see them trying to pass the extreme measures they're taking to pass the Voting Rights Act. And you have to finally understand what January 6th was. We looked back a couple of weeks ago and we saw them just flamboyantly saying things that were insane. January 6th was just like 9/11, September 11th, thousands of Americans died. Yeah. It was just like Pearl Harbor. All of this insane rhetoric, and now we can finally put it into perspective. January 6th was a dress rehearsal. It was meant to be a warning shot. It was meant to be a warning shot to patriots, to any individual in America who thinks that they're allowed to redress their grievances, to say, look, we're in control now. There will be no questions asked about what's fair and what's not fair. And if you do, we will maim you, we will caricature you, we will lock you up in a federal prison. That dress rehearsal was getting ready for the big event. The Democrats have no intention of doing anything that's constitutional. They've proven that all throughout COVID, as you just brought up Muriel Bowser. You can't move outside without papers. But the idea is, if you stand up to them and you say this is wrong, that is what is going to happen to you. They are not playing by any rules right now, and this is serious. They want to talk about a threat to democracy. Everything that they are doing is a threat to our democracy.
They're pushing people to the point of craziness. I will say, I just can't, as almost like as a style matter, I can't get over that the people they're maddest at are Americans. With all the threats around the world, every time they talk, their real rage is reserved for people who are born here and pay taxes here, who are citizens here. What is that?
Well, it's them trying to change fundamentally what America is, right? This is no longer a country where your vote is meant to mean anything, that they're trying to basically turn this into an oligarchy. We're in power and you're not, oh, well, boo-hoo. And what that means is that they have to make it seem as though these people are the enemy. And that's why I say January 6th is a dress rehearsal, when you know people were being locked up in federal prison for simple trespassing charges, being labeled as domestic terrorists. It extends further than that. Now, today we had some stuff coming out about how the parents who were labeled as domestic terrorists for standing up for their own children, saying, I don't want my children learning this stuff. We know that the DOJ was colluding with the Biden administration to get that out. I mean, we are facing unprecedented times in this country, and I think the majority of Americans understand that and know that, and the Democrats know fully well they cannot win elections by playing by the rules. So they have to do this sort of stuff because they've lost the American people. Nobody likes the radicalism that is going on in this country. Nobody likes the Democrat Party, and so they're going to cheat openly by trying to pass rules and to completely ignore the Constitution of the United States.
Yeah, I think most people maybe aren't aware. It's so upsetting that I know my instinct is to turn away. I don't want to watch this stuff because it's too much. But I appreciate that you do. Candace Owens, great to see you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.